Went to go eat a carrot when my video uploaded. Bit my lip. Swelled up like a balloon. Surprised that she doesn't look like it. Anyways, the point is, you can't fit a camel through that tiny little pin. It's going to come out on the other end as an aneurysm. And then once it gets out on the other end, you're going to have lost your argument because it's not going to be there anymore. And then so your perception of your spirit perceiving your mind, because your spirit controls your body, your brain doesn't control your spirit, it won't be able to rely on that argument anymore. You lost your argument. So that default that you're always trying to go to as your excuse to excuse yourself or to pardon yourself or to promote your bigotry, which never made any sense because you didn't care that it made sense, is going to go into a pending processing. And your brain's going to overload like a computer. At which point you will literally become physically inept. Because while you're trying to get to an argument, which isn't even an option for you anymore, your brain doesn't know it's not an option, and you're striving for it. Because you come from the same attitude, driving towards the same motive, in the same insolent manner which you habitually take to, but it's not going to be there for you. So you'll have an aneurysm. You'll die. Look at this. Sucks. It hurts. So the point is that God is everyone's God. You can't even pretend to fathomably see the logic in fucking and chucking someone else's daughter as being something God wants, when God's everyone's God, and all the signs lead up to him not appreciating that quality. And then so you say, well, God, I didn't know what you wanted from me. It doesn't matter. It's like the Cinderella story. If the shoe fits, he fucking hates you. If you do not love him for who he is, as opposed to something that he could potentially be, he hates you. And he's the god of scorpions, snakes, and spiders, and jellyfish, and he'll kill you, and he doesn't give a fuck, because he hates you. And that's who you're blackmailing when you blackmail God. Now, it's not a matter of whether or not God's real. It's a matter of how stupid it is to blackmail God as being the means by which you vindicate your actions, beliefs, behaviors, or attitudes when you're dismissing your insolence. A lot of people like to pretend that so long as they disregard all their things that they've done wrong, therefore everyone has to forgive them. You have to forgive me for my blasphemy of lying. You have to forgive me for disowning myself. You have to forgive me for whatever I've stolen from you, regardless of it being dignity or actual possessions. You have to forgive me for seeking monetary possessions instead of caring about the globe. And they slough it off, they just breeze it off, and they go, oh, that means you have to forgive me. And no, it's impossible to forgive you. It's literally called a blasphemy. It cannot be dismissed. It's literally impossible for anyone to overlook it, regardless of whether or not they appreciate that quality being in you. They might appraise it as being something they can utilize. They might see it as being funny or cool. But it doesn't go over their head. They identify you as you choose to be identified. Not by what you say you want to be identified as. If you behave like a bigot, you'll be identified as a bigot. If you behave polite, you'll be identified as being polite. If you identify as a pervert, that's because you're actually behaving like you're a pervert. And that's how everyone perceives you. And you don't get to choose what it is. It is what it is. God, being omniscience, has a solidified perspective in meaning. And you can't change it. And it's not going to change to adapt to you. You don't go, well, if he's God, and he's perfect, meaning he's idyllic, and he's my God, that doesn't mean that he's going to give me what I desire. It doesn't mean he's going to give me what I'm obsessed with. It doesn't mean he's going to excuse me. It just means that what he wants for me is idyllic regardless of how I behave. So when you blackmail him and you say, well, just forget about how I neglected the world, God's going to say, no, I'm going to give you an aneurysm and you're going to die. And you go, well, forgive me for sponsoring capitalist, whoremongering, criminal cartels, buying booze and porn and cigarettes and weed while I was negligent and just floundered all my time while a girl was getting raped in a basement somewhere on the planet. I didn't know which basement it was, and no one told me which basement it was, so I just pretended like it wasn't happening. And the answer is no. I'm going to surround you with rapists and womanizers and drug addicts and perverts in a city that everyone shits in the water, and you're going to be surrounded by disease and negligence, and you won't be able to find intellect anywhere or superior ideology anywhere or any help, and then you'll go die and I'll laugh because I'm omniscience, and I hate those idiots, and I've designed them to die. I've literally created sinners in a sense that they will perish from being sinners. That's my malevolence. I don't tolerate them, and my malevolence, my Satanism, is that I will obliterate them myself. You don't have the right to involve yourself in that. I'll do it. In fact, you have so little right to involve yourself in that, you should displace yourself from the facility where someone's paying taxes to subsidize their food prices, or their clothing prices, or their utility prices, or their education prices, or their security prices. Because without the righteous, they will automatically fail, and no fruit comes from that tree. And I will not forgive you for the blasphemy of suggesting that blasphemy is tolerable. And you can't blackmail me and say, oh, but God. He doesn't care. Why would you blackmail God? Run any amount of numbers through it. It doesn't matter what religion you are. I'm a member of every single religion. You lose. And the question is, are you going to pick up your numbers and try and make it past 500, despite the fact we're going to have no fuel to mine with, we're going to have no water to drink, and we're going to be surrounded by rapists and womanizers, and the amount of animals on the planet that go extinct, like all the dinosaurs that were eaten and killed and their environments destroyed? God's perfect. Now you're going to blackmail and say, yeah, you're not good enough for me, God, I'd rather die. Then he hates you, and you're condemned to hell for that. Don't blackmail God. You don't come off being smart, you don't come off being witty, and you don't win anything for acting like you're stupid, and because he doesn't owe you an explanation. What if there was no God, and you're just sitting there blackmailing God as being your excuse for being a bigot? Jeez, you're a dumb fuck. Check your pocket for your faith. I bet you 1,000 million years in heaven, on earth, without dying the first time, that it's right fucking there.